So as you'll have noticed if you watch the show, if you don't subscribe, we've put Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn in middleweights. So anyone that's watching this one thinking, where are they? We've put them in a middleweight category. So anyway, back to super middleweights. Number 5, Callum Smith. Absolutely brilliant fighter, Callum Smith. Not fought enough for me, which is why he's only at number 5. Won the World Boxing Super Series, which should have shot him to world stardom, and it didn't really happen because he was never pushed by his promoters, in my opinion. His only loss has come to Canelo Alvarez, and I think he might move up now to light heavy. So that might be the end of Callum at super middleweight. But yeah, Callum Smith, number 5. Okay, number 4. And this won't go down well with one of my colleagues, Carl, because we're both from Nottingham. And there was a big rivalry, as you know, at super middleweight. So number 4, George Groves. I've put George Groves in here because I think the Froch situation aside, is a much better fighter than his record probably states. 28-4. He only lost to three people in his career. Froch twice, obviously. Badu Jack, and he had a really bad night on the Badu Jack fight. And then Callum Smith in the World Boxing Super Series. Now, even though I think that performance was great from Callum, I think he was tailing off at that point. He'd had that injury in the semis, and I don't think he was quite right in the final. So that final might have been a bit close than it ended up being. I'm glad he won his world title in the end, because I think he was a decent fighter and had much better power than people give him credit for. So number 4, George Groves. Number 3, Robin Reid. Again, one of those forgotten super middleweights. The guy could fight. He had a great punch, and Carl Froch has even gone down as saying he's the hardest puncher he's been in with. He won a version of the world title, WBC super middleweight. Travelled to Italy to do it, and then he was in with some great fighters as well. He lost to Calzaghe in a really close fight. That could have gone either way. He got beat by Jeff Lacey, Sugar Boy Malinga, but absolutely brilliant fighter. One of them that you're on the edge of your seat watching. So yeah, number 3, Robin Reid. Number 2, Nottingham's very own Carl Froch. What can I say? Absolutely granite chin. Never took a backward step. Proud to say that I'm from the same city as Carl Froch. He's brought boxing back to the city in a big way. And 1 or 2 fighters coming in now off the back of him, but brilliant. I think I'm right in saying he had 12 consecutive world title fights, which is unbelievable. And they were all against unbelievable fighters as well. So he only lost twice in his career. Andre Ward in the final of the Super 6 boxing. He was outskilled, unfortunately, by Ward in that fight. And I think Carl's admitted it since. But other than that, he lost to Kessler in a really close fight, again in that tournament. But going into that fight with Kessler, that first fight with Kessler, there was a lot of trouble. There was that ash clad. The fight was off. It was on again at the very last minute. His preparations weren't right. So he did put that right, though, by winning the rematch. But yeah, absolutely unbelievable fighter. Carl Froch, number 2. Number 1, Joe Calzaghe. What can you say about Joe Calzaghe? Unbeaten fighter. He reigned as WBO super middleweight champion for 10 years. 10 years. Absolutely unbelievable. In the era that he was in as well, there was some great fighters in there. And he took them all on. He wasn't scared to fight anybody. Really fast hands, great boxing skills, but also loved to scrap. I think you could take Joe Calzaghe out of his era and put him in almost any other era, and he'd give a really good account of himself. Maybe not dominate the way he did in his era, but he'd definitely be up there fighting. Unbelievable fighter, Joe Calzaghe, number one. Okay, so that was my top 5 super middleweights, British super middleweights of all time. Please leave your comments, because I'm sure people are going to disagree with what I've put on some of them. I know that Carl will, the host of the show, he's really not going to be happy about me putting George Groves in there, I'm sure. But please leave your comments. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And again, come and join us on Thursday night.